Mindful Life Practice community.
And then just do one last finish off, whether you're on the right or left, just one inhale and exhale. So for me, I'm going to inhale left, exhale right. And then whenever you're done your last cycle, just bring both of your hands down to your knees. And just have a few nice deep cleansing breaths. And then we'll start to bring a little bit of movement. So if we can lift our arms up over our heads and then stretch your fingertips nice and high. See if you can aim right for the ceiling or for the sky, wherever you are. And then bring your hands together, bring them down to your heart center. And then let's do that nice big stretch upward one more time. And then bring your hands down to heart center. And let's do that again. One last time. Nice stretch up to the top. And now drop your right hand over to the right and do a nice stretch all through your left side. And if you can, our natural tendency is to sort of curve in. Try and keep your arm nice and straight, or nice sort of in line above your head. And if you can, look up to the ceiling, try that. And nice exhale and bring up to the top. And we'll repeat that on the other side. So again, trying to keep a nice straight line, lifting your head up towards the ceiling if you can. And then back up, both hands straight above. And then let's do a nice twist to the right. So left hand on the right knee, looking over your right shoulder. And then let's move to the other side. So right hand on left knee, looking over your left shoulder. And then back up to the middle. And then bring your hands to heart center. And then we're going to lift them up and we're going to just pivot straight forward. So trying to pivot right from your hips. Try not to curve your back too much. And just see if you can creep your hands forward just a little bit further. And then lifting back up to a seated position. And let's just do a little bit of some seated cat-cows. So we're going to start by curving our back, exhaling into a nice seated cat. And then inhale, arching your back, bringing your head up a little bit into a cow. And then exhale to cat. Inhale to cow. And then return just to neutral. And now let's transition to tabletop position. So keeping your hands underneath your shoulders. And then we're going to, let's just do a few cat-cows here, just slightly get a bit more opening in our back. So exhaling, nice cat, feeling like there's a string pulling the middle of your back up to the ceiling. And then inhale to cow. And exhale, cat. And one more cow. Feeling that belly drop towards the ground. And returning to neutral. And then let's lift our right arm up to the sky. And then we're going to thread our right arm underneath our left and bring your right cheek down to the mat if you can. No worries if you're not quite there. Your left hand you can keep stretched out in front of you, or if you want, curve it around and have it touch the side of your right hip. Should feel a nice stretch here through your right shoulder and then also through your left as well. And if you have that left arm curved around, just bring it back to the mat and return your right hand to your tabletop position. And then we'll do that same movement on the other side. So lifting our left hand up to the sky and threading it underneath the right, lowering down, resting your cheek. And feel free to tuck that right arm over against your left hip. So you're getting a stretch in both shoulder blades. And when you're ready, bring your right arm back to neutral. So you're back in your tabletop position. And then let's just do a little bit of curving. So you're going to look over your right shoulder back at your right foot. And then do the same on the other side, looking over at your left foot, over your left shoulder. Let's just do a couple more of these. And a couple more of those. Look again, back over our right shoulder to our right foot. And then from our table, you're going to tuck your toes and let's come back up into our first downward dog. You can bring your feet in a little bit, just try and have them about hip width distance apart. But if you want to be wider, if that's more comfortable, you're free, go right ahead. And let's just walk our dog a little bit, feeling a nice opening up of the muscles down the back of our leg. And just hang out there, maybe shake your head no a little bit, and then shake your head yes. And then when you're ready, bring your eyes forward to your hands, and then hop or step your feet up to meet your hands and hang out in this forward fold. Now you can sway your arms side to side, back and forth. Just feeling like a bit of a rag doll. And then let's grab opposite elbows. Bend your knees a little bit. If you feel like you want to rest your chest on your thighs, go right ahead, getting a bit of a deeper knee bend. And just breathe. And at the end of the next exhale, let go of your elbows. Straighten your knees a little bit, not absolutely straight. Keep a little bit of a bend. And let's inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold again. And then inhale all the way up, raising our arms up towards the ceiling. Bring our hands to heart center and then down. And just rest in your mountain pose for a moment. Feel free to readjust your feet a little bit, spread them out a little bit. Spread out your toes as much as you can. And feel free to lean back a little bit so you feel some weight in your heels. Lean to the left so you're having a bit of weight on the outside of your left foot, on the inside of your right. Lean a little bit forward so you're feeling connection in all of your toes. And then over to the right. Again, on the right side of the right edge of your right foot. And then the inside edge of your left foot. And let's come back to neutral. And let's raise our arms up high again. And forward fold all the way down. Let's inhale, halfway lift again. And exhale, fold. And this time you're going to bend your knees and bring yourself up into a chair position. Now your feet can be a little bit closer together than they were before, or still keeping a wide stance is fine. Trying to keep your arms in line with your ears as much as possible. I'm feeling the bit of fatigue I have today. I'm not quite getting everything in the right place that I want it to be, but I'm just making the effort. And at the end of your next exhale, straighten and fold yourself back down into a forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. And then all the way back up again. And this time, let's just do a little bit of a back bend. So just bringing your hands a little bit behind your head. Trying not to throw your head back at all. You can keep your chin tucked a little bit just to keep yourself in alignment so you don't put any extra strain on your neck. And then straighten back out. Hands to heart center and down. And let's do one more of these sequences. So lifting up and forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. And then bend your knees into a chair. And this time we're going to bring our hands together. Just bring our hands into heart center. And then let's just pivot a little bit to the right. Bring our right elbow to our left knee. Trying to look up over your left shoulder. And then come back to center. And then let's do the same movement on the right. So left elbow to right knee. And then back to center. And then straighten your knees out and bring yourself back into forward fold. And then inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. And then plant your hands on the ground. Step your feet back into a plank. And then let's just lower our knees down. Bring your elbows back behind you so that you're all the way down on your mat. Let's bring our hands off the mat and make what I like to think of as spider fingers. So your fingers are kind of spread out. They're off the mat, off to the side, almost at a right angle. And then we're just going to push up with our fingers. Hold for 3, 2, 1, and then back down. And let's do that one more time. Pushing up through your fingers for 3, 2, 1, and then down. And then bring your hands back underneath your shoulders. Let's come up into a table. Tuck your toes and back up into a downward dog. Now we're just going to do a nice little low flow. So lifting your right leg up for three-legged dog. Let's bring our right knee forward and in between our hands. And then let's just rock back and forth. And then what I'd like to do is just lift up into this low lunge. So you've got your hands on your hips. You've got your left foot back, your right foot forward. And then let's lift our arms up. So this is challenging our balance a little bit. So feel free to widen your stance a little bit. Think of your legs as 2 railway tracks. And if you need to make that track a bit wider, go right ahead. And then while we're in this position, we're just going to pull our left arm up a little bit above our head. And this is a little move I learned from my physiotherapist yesterday. And you should feel a nice pull in your left hip flexor. And if you want to get a bit deeper, feel free to bend that left knee just a little bit more. So it's a bit of a subtle movement, but you should feel a nice stretch there. And let's bring back to neutral. Windmill your hands to the mat. And then let's lower that left knee. And then just roll back over your right knee. Feeling a nice stretch all along the back of your right leg. And then come forward onto that right foot again. Tuck your left toe. And let's bring our right foot back to meet our left into a plank. And then let's just do a nice gentle flow. I'm going to drop my knees first. Elbows back. Lifting up into a baby cobra or a full cobra. Lowering back down through table and all the way back to down dog. And from here, we're going to do that nice low lunge sequence on the left side. So lifting your left leg up to the sky. Bring your left knee, left foot between to meet your hands, sorry. And then rocking back and forth. And then let's just rise up into this low lunge with our hands on our hips. So kind of think of it as a crescent lunge, but it's a bit lower. And again, what we're aiming to do here is give a nice stretch through this hip flexor right here. So when you're ready, when you feel steady again, feel free to widen your stance, lifting your arms up above your head. And then we're going to do our right arm is just going to sort of reach up and over our head a little bit. And again, feel free to drop that right knee even lower just to get a bit deeper into that stretch. And when you're ready, you can bring your hands back to your hips, windmill them forward, lower that right knee, and then let's slide back over the left leg. Feeling that nice stretch. Again, if you're looking to get a little bit deeper, just try and do it on the exhale. You'll have a little bit more space to sink a bit deeper into the stretch. And then moving forward, we're going to tuck our right toe, bring our left foot back to meet our right in a nice strong plank. And then let's do that gentle flow. So lowering our knees, arms go back, lifting up into an up dog or baby cobra, back down, through table, and all the way back up to down dog. And from here, let's just drop your knees and just sink back into a child's pose just for a few breaths. Let's take a little break after we've done that opening flow. And at the end of your next exhale, just rise up into table. Let's tuck our toes and just lift ourselves up into a plank. And then let's just walk our hands back to meet our feet, the back of our mat, into a forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. And then inhale all the way up. Hands to heart center. And then down. So you're likely at the back of your mat right now. And we're just going to take a little bit of a stroll up to the front. Again, back in our mountain pose, let's do that sequence again where we're going to lean back a little bit onto our heels, feeling how that changes our balance. Lean a bit right onto the outside edge of your right foot, inside edge of your left, and then forward onto your toes. If you want, feel free to lift up a little bit onto your tippy toes. And lower back down. And then over to the left. So outside edge of your left foot, inside edge of your right foot, then to the back, and then back to neutral. And let's lift our arms up above our head again. And we're going to fold again. And placing your hands on the mat, you're just going to step your feet back into a downward dog. You can do a flow if you'd like, but no need to if you don't want to. And let's hang out in this downward dog. Again, shaking our head no, shaking our head yes. Yes for being here, and no saying that you're tuning out everything else that's going on. And at the end of your next exhale, let's lift our right leg up to the sky for three-legged dog. Let's bring our right knee in between our hands, lift up into a nice high crescent lunge, lifting our arms up above our head. And then we're just going to do a bit of a flow here in our crescent lunge. So we're going to exhale, lean forward, bring our arms back behind us, and inhale, lifting up. And exhale, down and arms behind. And inhale, lifting up. And one more time, exhaling forward and inhaling up. And then land that back foot and pivot so that you're in a warrior two with your right leg forward, left leg back, arms nice in alignment, looking out over the middle finger of your right hand. And just sink down into the pose for a few breaths. No rush. We're not making this a fast flow or anything too vinyasa tonight. And when you're ready, we're just going to reverse our warrior. So flip your right palm up, bring your left arm down alongside your left leg. And then coming forward, just resting your right arm lightly on your right thigh in this extended side angle. And just like we did at the beginning, I'm going to try not to bring my shoulder forward and curve over. I'm going to try and keep a nice straight line. And if I can, look up at the sky over my left shoulder, or kind of through my left armpit almost. And then let's reverse again. Feeling that nice movement through your right side. And then forward again, extended side angle. And then one more time back in our reverse. And extended side angle. And then let's come back up to our warrior position. And let's bring our hands behind our back, grasping our hands together. And let's just hinge forward in a humble warrior. Bringing our arms up high behind us if you can. If you're more comfortable grasping elbows, go right ahead and do that. And just hinging forward. And what you want to try and do with your knee is, and I just caught myself doing it, is not having it sort of fall out. If you can see, sort of having it fall out like that. You want to try and keep it in a nice straight alignment so your knee is clocking sort of in line with your feet and not going out to the side. Easier said than done, especially today when I'm a little bit tired. Your body's always going to want to take the easy way out, especially when you're tired. That's okay. Hinge back up, release your arms, return to your warrior two, and then pivot and just lift that back heel up and windmill your hands down to the mat. Let's come back to that plank and just push back from your plank into your downward dog. And we'll do that sequence on the left now. So lifting your left leg up, bringing your left foot up in between your hands and rising up into that nice crescent lunge. Again, not as low earlier when we were doing those hip flexor stretches, so just a little bit higher. And bringing our arms up above our head. And let's do that flow. So exhaling, hinging forward, arms behind your back. Inhaling up high. And big exhale. And inhaling up. And exhale down. And inhale up. And then open up into warrior two. So drop your right foot down, left foot is leading. So you're looking out over your left middle finger. And let's reverse the warrior, flip the palm, bringing your right arm down alongside your right thigh. And back up and extended side angle. So nice light touch of your left arm on your left leg. And again, trying to be able to keep that nice straight line as if your body's kind of, think of your, almost like a piece of toast so that you're lined up. And if you were going to go up and down, you'd fit in a toaster. I've taken that from the Pilates teacher, Pooja. She would make us think we were a piece of toast. That keeps you in alignment. And then back up to warrior three and warrior two and reverse again. And one more time, extended side angle. And back up to warrior two. Then let's do that same movement, bringing your arms behind your back, either grabbing your hands or feel free to grab your elbows. I think I'll do elbows on this one. And then just hinge forward in your humble warrior. And then back up. Extend your arms back into warrior two. And windmill your hands down to the mat. Bring your left foot back to meet your right. Just drop your knees. And let's just sit back into a child's pose again for 3 breaths. And at the end of the next breath, let's just return ourselves to a table position, tuck our toes, and back up to warrior, back up to downward dog. And let's just do one more standing flow. So lifting your right leg up, and you're going to bring your knee through, stepping it through to meet your hands. And then you're going to land your back foot at 45 degrees so that you're coming up into a warrior one. Hands on the hips and just sinking into this, into that front knee. And then lifting your arms up above your head. And then we're going to straighten that front leg and then hinge forward into a pyramid pose. And your hands can be beside your foot. They can be hanging onto your leg. They can even stay at your hips if that's more comfortable for you. And make sure that you leave at least a little micro bend in that front knee. I did say to straighten it, but it's straight as in a loose straight. You want to have a little bit of a bend so that you don't hyperextend your knee and potentially lead yourself to some injury. At the end of your next breath, I'm going to bring my hands back to my hips, hinge up, again, bending that front knee. And I'm going to lift the heel up of my left foot. And I'm going to very carefully put all of my weight into my front foot into a warrior three here. I'm keeping my hands at my hips. And I'm doing that today to try and keep my hips in alignment. I know when I'm a little bit tired, it's easy for things to get out of whack. So I'm keeping them there so that I can kind of almost keep my hips in a brace of some sort. And when you're ready, just step your foot back. And then we're going to turn our toes to the long edge of the mat. And apologies, you get my backside here. Hinge forward into a wide-legged forward fold. And let's move both of our hands over to our right foot. And just hinge a bit to the right. Holding for 3, 2, 1. And then walk your hands back to the middle. And then over to the left. Holding onto your left leg. For 3, for 2, for 1. And then coming back to the middle. And then let's lift our right arm up to the sky. So doing a twist and looking over your right shoulder. And then back down. And then lifting your left arm up and looking over your left shoulder. For 3, 2, 1. And then both our hands are underneath, basically right underneath our head. Gonna bring our hands up to our hips, hinge up, and then let's just pivot to the back side of the mat. And windmill your arms down to either side of your left foot. We're in a plank. And then we're just gonna push back up into downward dog. And we're just gonna do that same sequence with our left. So lifting your left leg up to the sky. Bring your foot forward in between your hands. Land your right foot at that 45-degree angle and come up into your warrior one. Again, adjusting the distance between your front and your back leg, both from side to side and length distance. I always find warrior one is just a little bit more awkward feeling. So sink into that left knee and then lifting your arms up above your head, straightening that left leg and then hinging forward. Again, where your left and your right hand hit, it's up to you. They can be on the ground on either side of your foot. They can be hanging onto your leg, or you can keep them at your waist. And at the end of the next exhale, just bring your hands to your hips, lift up, bending that right front leg again, and then lifting the back heel into our crescent just briefly, and then hinging forward with all of your weight on that left foot. And again, I'm keeping my hands on my hips. Feel free to bring your arms out in front of you or to either side into airplane. And when you're ready, just step that leg back. I'm going to pivot around so I'm facing you guys. So we're in a wide-legged forward fold now. So both toes facing the long edge of your mat. And let's hinge forward. Arms, your hands touching the ground or dangling above the ground, whatever works for you. You can play a little bit with how wide your forward fold, your legs are out on your forward fold. I like mine quite wide, but if you'd like to heel toe your feet in a little bit, go right ahead. And this time we're going to walk our hands behind us. So you're just pulling your hands behind you as much as is comfortable for you. Feel free to get a little bend, little bit of a bend in that, in those knees. And when you're ready, rock those hands back. Just hang out in this wide-legged forward fold for just a little bit more. And then placing your hands on your hips. Pivot yourself, hinge yourself back up, and let's just heel toe our feet in so that we're standing pretty close to the middle of our mat. And from here, we're just going to play around with our tree pose. We're going to do tree pose. We're going to enter it from sort of the traditional view, and then I'm also going to take you into it sort of combined with a chair. So let's start the traditional one, bringing our hands to our palms to heart center. And then let's just start by kickstanding your right foot just at your ankle. And then slowly just bring your right foot up, either below or above your knee. And try to have that hip as open as possible. It can be if your hips are tight at all, you might be here. If you've been working on it, you might be able to get it out a little bit further. Or if you're naturally just more flexible through your hips, you might have no problem being straight out and having your foot above your knee. I'm hopeful someday I will be in that position. And from here, you can keep your hands where they are, or if you'd like to bring them down by your sides or up above your head. And if where you live, it's windy, like it's been here for me today, you can see if your tree wants to blow a bit in the breeze. All the while trying to make sure that you don't have this left hip stick out too much. I can sort of tell by looking at myself in the camera that, again, fatigue's kicking in and I'm kicking it out a little bit. When you're ready, just lower that right foot down and just shake things out a little bit. And then let's do that traditional tree on the other side. So starting with our hands at heart center, kickstanding the left foot just at the ankle, and then gradually bringing it up. And I'm just going to hold it here for a moment. And then I'm going to lift my arms up. This time I'm just going to lift them into a cactus. I'm going to pretend that I'm a cactus in the desert. I'm manifesting when I'm going to be in Mexico at the end of June. Thinking about that, imagining it. And then I'm going to lift them up high and just see if I could sway a little bit. What you might find, I'm finding for whatever reason, this side is a lot steadier than the other one was. Who knows why? It's a mystery. And then when you're ready, just lower that left foot down. Again, shake it out. And then what we're going to do here is we're going to do a combination of chair into tree. So the first thing we're going to do is just bend our knees into into chair. And you're going to keep your hands at heart center. If you'd like to have in traditional chair pose for your hands, go right ahead. But if you want to feel a bit more steady, feel free to keep them here. And then in this movement, instead of just standing up out of chair, we're going to stand up and at the same time bring your right foot up. And hold it there. And then lower your foot back down. Let's sink back down into chair again. Again, arms can be here or here. I'll do my arms up for the second version. And then as we stand up out of chair, bring the left foot up, all in the same movement. And then bringing your hands down. And then bringing your left foot back down. Well done, everybody. Now here what we're going to do is let's come up to the front of our mat again. Again, taking a moment in our mountain pose. Let's just take a few nice cleansing breaths. Let's do a bit of a roll with our shoulders, just to roll them back a little bit. We've been in a fair bit of downward dog through this class. Loosen them up and then roll your shoulders forward as well. And then let's lift all the way up, looking up at the ceiling and forward fold. Step our feet back into a plank. Lower your knees. And let's do one more child's pose before we transition into some work on the mat. So feel free to have your knees wide or together, resting your head down on the mat. At the end of your next exhale, just walk your hands back to meet your knees. Just bring your knees together a little bit. Let's just have a little seat in hero's pose here. And then just to do a bit more work on our shoulder blades, we're gonna lift our arms up. I want you to drop your left hand down to meet your right shoulder, and then just grab your right hand onto your left, sort of, I think that's your tricep or bicep, tricep. You guys know what I mean? I'm grabbing this part and just pulling that down. Now, if you have it within your abilities to bring your right hand back around and grab your left hand, go right ahead. I don't have that flexibility right now, so I'm just going to be pulling it with my right hand at my left elbow. And just hold that for another few breaths. And then let's unwind that, and then let's just do that the other side. So dropping your right hand to meet your left shoulder, and then bringing your left hand to your right elbow, and just pulling on your right arm just a little bit, just to feel that stretch through your shoulder and hopefully through your shoulder blades a little bit. And after this, we're just going to do a few eagle arms as well to release in the opposite direction in the back of our shoulder blades. So this is kind of doing the front. And release that. And then let's bring our arms to cactus. I'll face you guys. And then bring your right arm underneath your left. And you can either high five your hands or grab opposite shoulders. But the real key thing I've learned here is to keep your elbows high. That's whether you're doing high five or opposite shoulders. That's where you're going to get the really nice release through your shoulder blades. I know for me, after a long day sitting at my desk, this is exactly what I need, because I know my posture when I sit at my desk is not what it should be. And this tends to help release a few of those knots. Again, just keeping those elbows as high as you can without hurting yourself, of course. Feeling a pull is great. Feeling pain, you always want to back off. Now let's release that back into cactus, and then let's do it the other way. So bringing your left elbow underneath your right. Again, keeping your elbows nice and high. And then just really pulling into that. If you want to curve your back a little bit more to get a bit more out of that feeling, go right ahead. Again, keeping those elbows high. And if you want to experiment, you'll find if you drop your elbows, it's very easy, it's very comfortable, but you're not getting the same feeling. At least I'm not. And when you're ready, just release that. Good job. And just slide over so that we're now sitting back on the ground, and we're going to bring our legs out in front of us, straight, feet flexed. And we're going to start by just doing a seated forward fold. So if you think about it, this is almost the exact same as what we've been doing multiple times in the class standing. Just lifting your arms up above your head and folding forward. And just see where your hands go. Today, mine are reaching my ankles. Some days I love it when they're around my feet, but that's just not in the cards today. As I said earlier, if you're looking to do an extra stretch, just focus on doing it on the exhale. That's when you'll be able to get just a little bit more into those muscles. And then exhale, just bring yourself back up to seated. And let's bring that left foot into, just be alongside our right thigh. And we'll just do the same fold with one leg bent. So folding over. And at the end of your next exhale, just rise yourself back up. And then let's do that on the other side. So left leg extended, right leg bent. And lifting your arms up and then rolling forward. And when you're ready, come on back up. And then if you have a strap, you can grab it now. And what we're going to do is we're going to lie down on our backs. And if you want to hook that strap around your right foot, extend your left leg long along the ground, and then just lift your left foot up into the sky, holding onto it with the strap. I tend to hold on to the strap with both hands. Some people are more comfortable just with their right or just with their left holding it. But we're going to start holding it straight. If you would like to keep a bend in your knee, go right ahead. Again, this is all personal preference, whatever is comfortable for you. And then when you're ready, you're just going to open your leg over to the right. So it's an open hip. And you're going to hold on to the strap with your right hand. If you need to also use your left just to steady it, go right ahead. And also, I should have mentioned earlier, if you're more comfortable resting your leg on a block when you're in this position, go right ahead and do that. Sometimes that just helps with a bit of support and actually allows you to relax a bit more into the stretch because you're not stressed about if you're going to be able to hold on to your leg or not. So I never like to think of props are never something that sort of means that you can't do the pose. You're just doing it a little bit differently. And there's no hierarchy of that. At the end of the next exhale, let's bring our leg back up to center and then bring it over to the left. So now you're going to be feeling a nice stretch through your IT band and through your glutes. This is exactly the area that I need to work on. So I'm selfishly engineering parts of this class. Sorry about that. You can experiment with letting your foot fall down a little bit lower or holding it up a little bit higher. Again, always just within your comfort level. And then let's bring it back up to center. And then let's just switch the straps so that you're now with your left foot up to the sky and your right leg out straight. When you're ready, just drop that left leg over to the left. Now, ideally, you want it sort of straight out from your hip, but I think you'd have to be a pretty serious ballet dancer to be able to do it absolutely straight out from your hip. So I've definitely got mine on an angle. And at the end of the next exhale, bring that leg up. And then you're going to drop your left leg over to the right, feeling that through that IT band and your glutes in your left leg. And when you're ready, just bring that leg up and then bring it down to the ground. You can put the strap to the side for now. And let's just bring our legs up into tabletop and then drop them to the left. Both knees stacked on top of each other, and then just gaze over your right shoulder. And then bring your knees up to center and then drop them over to the right and bringing your gaze over your left shoulder. And in terms of what your legs do, you can stack them on top like we did on the other side. If you want to get a bit of an extra stretch, feel free to just twist them together a little bit. And if you want to use your right hand just to push them down a little bit, feel free to do that as well. And I also feel at the end of a class like this, if there's certain poses you want to do, please go right ahead and do them. If you get to this point and you said, I don't want to do twists anymore, Leanne, I want to do reclined butterfly, please go ahead and do that. It's your practice. You can improvise and adjust as much as you want. And when you're ready, just come back up to center. You can just plant your feet on the ground, a nice, easy bent knee. And then for me, I'm going to bring the soles of my feet together and just let my knees knock wide. I'm going to bring my hands up above my head, grasping opposite elbows, and just take a few moments in this reclined butterfly. And just continue to enjoy that pose. Or if you'd like to stretch out into a full Shavasana, go right ahead. We are going to do a little breathing exercise at the end of the class here that I'm going to lead you through. And it's just a parasympathetic flow of breath movement where I will be guiding you through having consistent inhales to the count of 4, but I'm gradually going to extend the exhales starting from 4 and ending all the way at 8, assuming we have time. But I think I've left enough time today to do it properly. So just get comfortable. If you prefer to be in a seated position, go right ahead. Some people prefer that for the breathing exercises. And just let's try and do a few nice, relaxing, as we did at the beginning, not overly thoughtful breaths, just easy breaths. And then let's start with an inhale for 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Just let your body return to its normal pace of breath and just rest and relax there for a moment or two. And when you're ready, feel free to bring a little bit of movement back to your fingers and toes. You can bring your knees into your chest, give yourself a nice little hug. Or if you feel better, giving yourself a huge long stretch, bringing your hands above your head, stretching your toes out. And then when you're ready, feel free to come back to a seated or remain lying down, whatever is your preferred spot. I just have a few words to close with, all to do with balance. And it's that falling out of balance doesn't matter really and truly. How we deal with that moment and how we find our way back to center every day, again and again. That is the practice of yoga. It's about trusting that you will find your way. And I'm so happy that all of you found your way to the mat tonight or this morning to join me. And let's just end with a little thought that the light in me sees and honors the light in you. Thank you for joining me.